Well, hello friends. Welcome back to OS hacking. Today we're going to continue working on the Paint application. So where we ended off yesterday was something like this, and I've done a little bit of polishing today, just adding stuff like tool menu here and a little bit of this and that, just fixing some bugs that came up yesterday, but basically we're almost in the same place. So today we are going to continue by making it possible to create layers, remove layers, maybe resize a layer, stuff like that. So let's just get right into it. And I guess we'll start with adding a create layer action. So let's see. In the let's add a menu for it. Let's say I'm thinking like a layer menu, and then we'll put like new layer in that menu. So we go right after the tool menu here. So we'll say layer menu, layer, and then in this layer menu we will add an action. That's a GUI action create new layer. And oh, by the way, this dot dot dot, I don't know if people know this anymore, or if it's like the floppy disk save icon thing that like it's sort of forgotten. But I was just reading about this earlier, and this is supposed to signify incompleteness. So it's not like this thing opens up something else, which a lot of people seem to think it is, but it rather is supposed to indicate that you're going to need to fill out more information or provide more info before we can continue with this thing. So in this case, what we're saying here is that you're going to have to tell us the dimensions of the layer and stuff like that. Anyway, I just thought that's an interesting little thing. So for a keyboard shortcut, let's say Control Shift N, because I'm kind of just copying the GIMP shortcuts right now because I'm used to them, and then we can maybe come up with other shortcuts later if we wanted to. So here, let's just say image editor. Oh no, we want to create a new layer. Let's make a dialog for that. So how do we do that? Dialog is paintbrush create new layer dialog construct, and then we run the dialog, and then and then if this succeeds, then it will say GUI dialog exec OK. If so, we will say image editor create new layer. I guess we'll just get the layer size and maybe the layer name from the dialog. So wait, did we put the name first or last? Name goes after the size. Okay, so I guess the size is the more important piece of information about a layer. When it comes to choosing parameter order for things, I like to put like the most important thing first. So about when you're creating a new layer, the most important thing I think is the size of the layer, because it really it's much more important than the user interface visible name of it, for example. Okay, so these APIs don't exist, but we'll add them. So first thing is, let's make that dialog. So let's see, create new layer dialog, and create new layer dialog. We don't have many apps that do a lot of dialogues, but it's something that we should maybe... It's a good thing to start experimenting with a little bit, I think. So create new layer dialog. Let's see how we design such a class. So we're just going to inherit from GUI dialog in the paintbrush namespace, of course. And I'm still thinking about a different name for this, because I don't like that we are using the same exact name as the original Windows Paint app. So I'm still working on that, but I also kind of semi-promised Sergey I would stop making big changes to the code base while he's working on a big patch. So we'll see. Gives me some time to think about it. So libgui dialog. Okay, create new layer dialog. GUI dialog. Right. And we said that he would give you the size. And he would also give you the name. Maybe we'll call these like layer size and layer name. And these will be sort of available if you click OK. There will just be some state that we have, essentially. So let's have a constructor. And then the layer size and the string layer name. All right. So that's cool. And then we'll just build the UI in the constructor, essentially. So let's see how we do that. Click. Okay, so we must explicitly initialize the GUI dialog because you take some parameter. What's that? You want me to give you a window. Okay, well, that's fair. Should probably take one here as well. And then we'll pass that to our parent. So parent window, let's see. That's used for some things like if you provide a parent window when you pop up a dialog, then we will center the dialog above the window that you provided. So it gives a nice sort of visual clue about how they belong together. And then also, as of a while ago, a couple of videos ago, we also move parent and child windows together. So even though a dialog might be modal, if you were to move the parent, the child window would sort of move along with it. So it gives this nice sort of soft attachment effect, or whatever you want to call it. But they appear to be stuck together a little bit, which I like. So here we're going to need various UI things. So let's grab, I guess, button and label. And maybe we'll also grab, why don't we grab a spin box for this? So let's see, what kind of things do we want? We want the name, and we want to be able to enter the size. So width, height, and name. Maybe that's all that we need, actually. So let's get a text box for the name. Okay, and then, oh, we'll need a layout for this, of course. So we'll grab a box layout. So layout is set layout GUI vertical box layout. And let's see. Wait, why can't I? Oh, because I'm a window. Oh shit, I have to make main widget. I often forget that dialogues are windows. They're not widget, they're windows. So set main widget. Just make a regular plain widget. And this will be the main widget layout, and his margin is going to be 4444. It's a very tasteful distance from the edge in all cases. And then I think we'll leave the default spacing actually, and then let's see what we add here. So we'll add a kind of would like to have a grid layout here, but we don't have a grid layout. So we'll have to settle for box layouts. So we'll do something like the width label. Widget add, GUI label. Well, not widget, width. Oops, width, height. And we should set the title to create new layer. And I don't know what the rect should be. We can resize this to be exactly how big, I don't know. 200 by 200. I don't know. We can figure that out once we have it on screen, because then we can like move it around and see what's a good size. Set text alignment. Let's say that we left align these guys. Center left, right? And under these, we will add I guess a width spin box is main widget add GUI spin box. Do you take any params, dude? No, you don't. Okay, that's fine. So we can put any default value here that we like. We'll put that momentarily. And then we'll do the height spin box as well. And then here we can say width spin box on change is layer size set width value. And if the height spin box changes, well, wouldn't you know it, we're going to set the height. All right, and then if the name, which, oh, we didn't add the name text box yet. Should we put the name up top? In a weird way, I feel like that might make sense. So we'll just set name label. Oh, actually, let's just do the exact same thing here. Name. Name text box is textbooks on change. I don't remember if he gets the text in the callback. I feel like it doesn't. No, it's just a void. So we have to actually ask for the text. So let's store this in a pointer here. Oh, not here. Store these guys here. So ref footer to GUI text box. Okay, and when it changes, then we'll say the layer name is the name text box text. Capture this. All right. And I think maybe we are good with that. Maybe we should set some initial values. So we'll say like with spinbox set range 0 to 16K. Set value. I don't know. What? I guess the default value should be the size of the image that we're editing, right? So, does our image class have a size? I already forgot. Yes, it does. It has a size. Okay. So then we should use that. So maybe we'll provide that to him when we call here. So const graphics size, initial size, or suggested size. Yeah, that'll be good. So we will start with that. So with spinbox set value, suggested size, width, and height. All right, so that is cool. So now we have all of that stuff set up. Let's just hope that that works, and we can start working on our other function for create new layer, which will put an image, I guess, or you know, we don't have to do it this way. We can also create it here ourselves. I don't know why I wanted to have that in a function when we can just straight up instantiate a layer. Because we are in charge here. So layer is going to be paintbrush, layer, create with size, dialog size, dialog name. Okay, so if this doesn't work out, then let's do a message box, show, unable to create layer size. And you know, you can figure out why I didn't create the layer, but we'll at least tell you this much. To string characters, all right, and then we will say that create new layer, or error maybe. What do we title this dialog? I'm a little bit unsure what to put in the title bar of error messages. Error is emptying, right? So let's just put error for now. And then the GUI message box type is error. And GUI message box input type is okay. And the parent window is, I guess, our window. Really, we should have provided a window when we show the dialog. So we should construct it with the suggested size, which is the image down here actually. So I guess in our case, it's like the image editor image, if we have one, which we should always have if we are creating a layer. So let's say size, window as the parent window. And now I'm just thinking, like, it would be nice if this guy had, if we had a helper for this, like GUI message box error, like show error, and it looked something like, I don't know, like this, right? And you didn't have to fill in the rest. That would be kind of neat. Maybe we should add that to encourage people to show more of these guys. And show error const view text. And then, yeah, so we'll put the rest in for you. String view text. Oof, text. Oh, and we need the window, of course. Window, parent, window. Okay, it's good to have helpers. Alright, so wait, hold on. There we go. Then we don't need image create new layer because we don't need this long thing. And here we can just say return. So this is a blocking call, by the way. So we'll create a new event loop. So by the time you return from this function, we're finished with the message box. You dismissed it. So, but if you did make a layer, then we will say image editor. Image, add layer, move layer. Layer release non-null. And what does add layer actually do? I forgot already. We should probably say layers. Wait. No, we can't do that. Okay. Image editor layers did change. Yeah. The fact that we have to notify the image editor when something changes about the layer stack is like currently we're doing that manually everywhere, but I feel like it would be good to get to a place where it happens at some in some logical way. Like if you add a layer, it would automatically update the editor and so on. But we'll get there. Can't do everything at once. So let's see how this thing looks. Oh, show error. We have to recompile the GUI. And then let's see what we forgot. We forgot to fill with a reasonable background color. We forgot to put some like OK buttons. OK and cancel, we should probably have, since it's a OK cancel dialog, conceptually. So let's add some of that. Let's say main widget set fill with background color a true. Sometimes I feel like maybe that should be the default setting, because like most of the time you probably, or I don't know. Maybe most of the time you don't, but in the case you're a main widget, maybe a main widget could default to being filled with background color, but hey. So let's add some buttons here. So after the height spin box, we will add OK button. Oh, let's put this in a horizontal thingy. So button container is main widget add GUI widget button containers set layout horizontal box layout, and then auto OK button is button container add GUI button OK. I saw someone on Twitter yesterday, like comparing making a button in Serenity to doing it with, I think it was React or something like that, and like how many thousands of lines in React that you needed to create a button, and then like showing the contrast with the very few number of lines you need here. I do think that API is in a pretty nice place currently, so I'm happy with it, and I'm happy to if people find it so compellingly simple that they would use it as a comparison to show why someone else is too complicated. Let's say that's a good place to be. So when we click on a button, the click will have, this will be the mouse modifiers, so like Control, Alt, stuff like that, but we don't care about that here. So I guess we'll just say done, exec OK. Because this is how you tell the base class. So you tell the dialog base class that you're finished. On click. Actually, we don't need to capture by reference here. That's a kind of a bad habit, so I shouldn't do that. Since everything on the stack is not going to be there by the time we get called. All right, so now we have those, and let's see if this looks a bit more reasonable. It's going to be like very stretchy because nothing has any size constraints or anything, so like everything is just, and they both say okay. Oh, that's stupid. Let's fix that. All right, so that's pretty good. And yeah, so you can see it goes above the top of the paintbrush window. If we move the paintbrush window, he comes along with us, except when you do this, which is, we shouldn't let it do that. That's a Windows Server issue. But let's try to add something then. So we make one that's 300 by 300. Oh, wait, how the heck did I do that? I don't even know how I did that. Okay. I feel like it gave us a layer that's 200 by 200. That's not what I told you. It did at least give me a layer, so wait, why can't I delete that? Okay, it's always doing 200 by 200. Why? Layer size is what we have here. Is that what we use in main? No, we use, oh, it's a dialog size. We're using the dialog size. Okay, let's do it. The dialog size is the size of the dialog window. So obviously that's not what we wanted. Sometimes I wonder if it would be good to have, because this is kind of an awkward thing that we're doing here, right? So we're defining this dialog class, and then we create such a dialog and execute it. And then to get the result from the dialog, we call various functions on the dialog. But there's this sort of awkward overlay with all of the regular functions that already belong to dialog, since it's a GUI window dialog, whatever. And it might be nice to have dialogs produce something more like an explicit result object, so that you know that everything in that is what the dialog produced for you. But I'm not sure I like that either. It's just something I'm thinking about every time I use dialog. All right, so this thing needs to have an initial focus. So let's make one that's 300 by 200, and that's called test. All right. So we have our new layer, and it's initially very empty, and we can spray a little bit into it. A little blood spatter here, and look at that. It's not bad. So if we cancel, nothing happens. Perfect. And if we make one that's like obscenely large, what actually happens? We crash. Why? We crash in layer model data. I'm confused. See, okay. Oh, wait, is this because we didn't give it a name? or because of something else? What happens if you just do that? That works. Okay, so nameless is fine. 16,000. That's apparently fine. It's a very large layer. But it's not going to have, since we just allocated the bitmap, but we didn't actually access any of these pixels yet. But if we try to write to them, we're going to see memory usage shoot up. It's kind of nice. You can see that. So transparent pixels don't really cost us any memory until we actually start using them, you could say. But they have to, of course, they have to be like four contiguous kilobytes of transparent pixels. But that's still a neat effect, though. Ooh, look at that. The flood fill is not working right. Because this guy was like outside of the clip rect or whatever. So what happens if we flood fill again? That doesn't seem like it worked correctly at all. What the heck? Can I spray on it? Okay, something here is not right. Maybe we're not rendering the layer correctly. It seems to be clipped to the width of the whole image. What happens if we make one that's taller than the image? Like 800. And then we fill him with blue. And we are again clipped to the dimensions of the image. We should fix that. So why did that go wrong? Is that when we paint? Paint into image, paint into wait, what am I thinking of here? Oh, the source rect. Oh, right, this is the stuff that I was struggling a bit with yesterday. So the source rect is the argument here to paint into. So when we're painting the image, basically we tell the image, paint yourself into this painter, right? And then the image goes in and like traverses the layer stack from back to front or bottom up. And this is the destination rect that we should paint into, and then this is the source rect that we should paint from. But this is not supposed to be the source rect that we pass for each individual layer. The source rect of the layer should be, I guess, the layer rect. And then let's just void out this one for now. Because this stuff will become important when we do scrolling, zooming and panning and stuff. Hold on a moment here. Why are you so big? Scale the bitmap. Okay, so what on earth are we doing now? I'm just going to enable this debug statement here to see what it's printing out. Okay, so The background is, oh, all of the target rects are this large and all of the source rects are, wait, why? Oh, this is a lie here. This needs to say layer rect. But the target rect shouldn't be, the target needs to be relative to the, it needs to be the same size as the source rectangle, essentially. So target set size, source rect, or layer size. Okay. So this code is very much evolving, but I know it's still not perfectly right. So we'll make one that's 800 by 800 and then see if we can flood fill that with some blue. And as we can see now, we're actually able to, like, this is outside of the boundaries of the image, which is probably not what we want. Although it might be a nice feature to enable, like, show layer contents even when they're outside the bounds of the image. But basically the purple here is how large the image is. So anything outside the purple should not be painted. We should clip that. So let's see. We should clip. Clip. So how about we add clip rect, dest rect. Let's also save the state of the painter, just to be nice. Or we can use it on GUI painter state, painter state saver. Graphics. Painter state saver. Does that work? Okay. Just because, like, if we start messing with the clip here, then we can restore the painter before we give it back to our caller. Okay, and then let's just make a new layer, and we will fill it with blue, and then oops, that's not what I meant to do. I wanted to, wait, why can't I? Oh, sometimes, like, QEMU thinks that shift is pressed or something, and then it doesn't catch my key presses. Okay, so here we go, this is what I wanted. So now when the layer goes outside the image bounds, then we don't paint it, but we still do the outline. I think that looks really good. And yeah, you can drag something, even when it's behind something else, you can still grab it like that if it's selected. And I think that's pretty cool too. And by the way, here's like some little thing that I added offline, just the ability to do this with arrow keys, like nudging. I always think that's such an important feature. Okay, so the compositing function, I already know that it's lacking in a lot of ways, but let's at least commit this because it's still an improvement over what we had. Wait, let's see. Let's do the GUI message box first. And GUI message box show error convenience function. This is just a wrapper around show that puts up a typical standard looking error message. All right, and then we had the image compositing thing. Yes. Paintbrush. Clip out. Don't paint. Layer contents, or like let me say clip out. Clip layer contents outside the image rect. Compositing. Then we're adding the new layer dialog. So I'm kind of thinking that we're not gonna sweat making this type of dialog beautiful right now. It's very much just about the functionality. So wait, why can't I type into it? Oh, dude, that's so weird. Look at that. It's hitting my keyboard shortcuts. So O selects the color picker. If I do Shift B, I bet it will choose the bucket tool. Yes, it does. That's not very good. That's not how we want that to work, because that means that I can't type the letter O here. Oh, man. So we definitely don't want these actions to be activated while we are in here. So why are they? Is it because they are in, because they're in the menu, maybe? The actions, they should be scoped to the painting window. Anyway, let's just add this dialog and then we can take it from there. Paintbrush, add dialog, add create new layer function. This action pops up a dialog asking for a name plus dimensions. If you click, if OK is clicked, you get a new layer with those specifications. Cool. All right. So should we investigate the action issue or should we do something else? Let's do some other stuff, because I don't want to get too deep into libGUI hacking right now. I want to add more functionality here. So one thing that annoys me is that I have to go and click on these guys. I would like to be able to have keyboard shortcuts that activate, that's like jumping between the layers. So in GIMP, you switch layer with like page up and page down. So I think we should do that. And then it also has like home and end to go between the backmost and frontmost. So let me just make sure that I am saying that correctly, but stack is, yeah, page up previous layer. Top layer is home, bottom layer end. So that's pretty good. So let's do those. Now we'll put those in the layer menu as well, I guess. That will be nice. Oh, we should scope our actions. I need to be better about that. Here. Where do we add it? Scope it to the window. Git show. Yeah, we'll just add that to that change. Okay, and then let's add a separator, not a submenu, separator. So this will be move layer up, or no, not move, previous layer. And the keybind will be no mods at all, just page up. So key page up. And then we just need a lambda. Okay, and then how do we access it? We just say layer table view dot. Do we have something like in list view we have something move selection. We should have the same thing in table view so that you can just step the selection one step. Let's add it here actually in the abstract table view. So, and then in key down event, we'll just grab the code here from key up and key down and put them there. So move selection. So this will be moving key up is essentially move selection -1. So here we'll just add steps. And if the view doesn't have a model, then we'll return. Otherwise, the model is like that. Okay. I need to star that. Okay, and then key down is just the other way around. So this actually makes this code a little bit nicer too by sharing that. We could probably do even better here by sharing these guys too, but let's only concern ourselves with this one right now. So wait, did they behave the same way before? Yes, they did. Okay. So that means that we can call here. We should call move selection -1 for page up. Scope that to the window, and the next layer is page down. Okay, and we can even add the top layer and bottom layer. What do they call them? So it's like select previous layer. Yeah, that's the layer above the current layer. Next is below. So page down is supposed to be below. Oh wait, I got these backwards. Yeah. So, yeah, select is better. So the top layer is. Why do I keep looking at these? Top layer is home. Okay, let's just put this thing away. I'm not here to clone the GIMP, obviously, so I just, for some reason, I want the same keyboard shortcuts right now. I feel like that's going to help me somehow. So for going to the top layer, we just want to go to the bottom of the layer stack, or to the top layer stack, which will be the index needs to be the image editor, image layer count -1. And here it just, oh wait, this is relative, right? So selection set, layer, table view, model, index. Okay. A little convoluted, but I think we got it here. So let's try this. If I can just add all of the necessary parentheses. And of course we need to rebuild libgui. So it's immediately a little bit counterintuitive that that it goes up and down like this, but it's just because this list here is really in the wrong order, I think. Because we would want the background layer to be listed on the bottom. I think that would visually make more sense, even though we can store them in the vector with the background layer at the 0th index. I think visually we want this thing to be reversed. So let's change that in the layer model. What's a good way to do this without getting really confused? We use these indices everywhere. Okay, let's not get carried away with that thing right now. Let's see if everything else that I wanted works. So home goes to the top layer and goes to the background layer. That is very nice. All right. So maybe we should draw like a little rectangle around the image at all times. I feel like that would make sense. Or it should be like 1 pixel outside the image, because otherwise it's hard to see where the image really is. But let's just put this thing here. So do we add abstract table view, move selection, steps. This allows embedders to implement to step the selection up, down, and also simplifies abstract table view by sharing code between key up and key down. Nice. Okay, and then let's just add these guys the way they are. We'll worry about things like the order of the layers in the table later, because I think we're probably not going to want to keep that visualization in the table view anyway. We're probably going to want to make a custom sort of layer stack view thing with more tailored to this particular purpose. So let's not sweat it too much. So add actions, keyboard shortcuts for selecting different layers. Cool. So let's do a outline around the image when we paint. So that would be in image editor paint event. We want to, I guess if we have an image, we will draw a rect. Inflated to 2, so yeah. Same basic concept as with the layer. So we inflate it by 2 pixels in both directions, which means that we don't hide any pixels inside the image. Let's just see what that looks like. So if we select this guy here, or if I select the bottom layer, move it away, there's a little bit of a stupid offset here. Why is that? I guess it's probably because of the GUI frame. We got 2 pixels here. I think it's it's a missing translation somewhere, because we have this is a GUI frame. The image editor is a GUI frame, so we have 2 pixels of frame on both sides. But why is it doing that particular thing? So we're drawing this in the right place, but you are weird. Draw scaled bitmap. Are you weird? Do you not care about the translation? Draw scaled bitmap. It does respect the translation. Okay. I'm not sure what that one is about. Well, let's not get carried away with debugging that right now. Let's instead focus on adding some more functionality. So I think it would be handy if you could just click on a layer to switch to it, at least if you have the move tool enabled. Although it would mess up like moving something that's behind something else a little bit, which I do like that we can just do this, right? Even though, I mean, that I can move the background like this, even though it's behind the yellow. But at the same time, it would be really neat if I can click on something, and if I'm clicking on something, then that becomes the active layer. So I think we should have that functionality here. Let me just commit this. Paintbrush, draw an outline around the image boundary. Boundaries. Okay. So yeah, let's make the move tool select a different layer if you click on a different layer. So if you mouse down, so when you mouse down, this will be the active layer. And this will be a layer relative event, and this is an original event. So, how do we do this? I guess maybe we could start by only letting you do this if you're clicking outside of the layer, outside of the active layer. So if the active layer doesn't contain where you click, image layer at original event. Maybe we can do something like this. So we'll call this like other layer. So if we find another layer at that position, then we will say mEditor set active layer, other layer. That would be kind of neat. So then we just need to implement layer at point. So that would be something like so if we don't have an image, And then we just have to go front to back, basically, and see if you are hitting something. So for set image layer count -1. Okay, so backwards traversal, and then if in image layer at I rect, or no, the relative rect contains position, then return the frickin' layer. Actually, let's grab it like this. And if we don't find anything, return null. Cool. So let's try this. Oh, it's a const. Alright. I'm kind of not caring about constness so far in this program very much. This is probably going to come back and bite me sooner or later, but I feel like it's not the most important thing to think about constness when we're just like building this thing up. We will definitely figure things out about that as we go. So, can I click on things? Doesn't seem to do anything. All right. Well, that's a bad sign. So this works. Wait. Oh, it actually does do something. Oh, right. I can only click on something if it's, okay, so that's kind of neat. But I can't activate the yellow, even though it's above the purple, because I'm still hitting the purple here. How do I feel about this? It doesn't feel intuitive that we don't grab the thing that's above if you click on it, right? The fact that I'm dragging the purple background layer here, it just seems wrong. So we should make it select the yellow layer. Also, this thing doesn't update when we're switching the active layer. Why doesn't it update? Set active layer. We need to update the image layer model. Didn't we do a set active layer? Oh, set active layer. That's we should just say up. We should just say layers did change. That's the trick here. That's how we notify the table view so that it updates the state. So now if we actually, wait, now nothing is selected. Okay, so now this guy's selected, now this guy's selected, click, click. But it still doesn't update the, oh, it doesn't update the selection. We wanted to update the selection too. So for that, we need to figure out the index of this layer. This will be a bit weird. So let's say if active layer index less than image layers. layer count. And then if image layer that is the same as the layer that we are messing with, then break. And then we will say, oh frick, how do we get to the table view? We can't. On layer, on active layer changed. On active layer change. And then we will just spit out the index. Yeah, that's a little bit weird, but we can do this. Okay, so now we spit that out, and then if we didn't have one, then we will also notify. We should notify that there's no active layer anymore. So maybe this should be an optional. All right. And then in pane main, where we do the man, I'm a little bit lost. Image editor on active layer change. And then here we have an optional size t, which is the index of the new active layer in the model. Which I suppose we could actually give you a model index directly. That might be a slightly nicer approach. So let's say we'll give you a GUI model index. So here, yeah, we'll give you an empty one. Otherwise, we'll give you a layer model index with the, yeah, exactly. And then here we can just forward this to the layer table view selection set index. Okay. It's not terribly counterintuitive, actually. So basically, when the active layer changes in the image editor, we just forward the new layer index to the table view. So click, clack, click, clack. Yes, that's pretty good. Oh, and I can't start dragging it right away. The first click only selects it. I don't know if I love that, but it still feels like an improvement. Although this, yeah, selecting the thing that's behind, that's not good. But maybe we should implement this in a different way. Maybe this should happen before before anything else. So maybe this shouldn't be in the tool. That would make it a little bit easier to do. So in the move tool, what if we don't do it here? So basically where we call on mouse down, which is in image editor mouse down. So here we're just calling the tool, right? But I'm thinking we can do a special case for the move tool. So we'll say something like if active tool is move tool, then we will do this, and then we will change the active layer. something like this, right? And then we call this, and then if we're setting the same layer we already have, then it doesn't matter. But if it's changing, then we'll actually update it before proceeding. So then we just need to know that it's a move tool. So we'll add something here like virtual bool is move tool. Return false, right? And then everybody except move tool will just keep returning false. But this guy will be proud and loud and say, I am move tool. I'm a move tool. I can do the thing you want. Okay, so this is a little bit of a layering violation, you could say, but I think that this is better than, because otherwise, by the time we get into the tool, we in all other cases we just want to operate on the current active layer. So move tool is very special here in that I think we only want this behavior for other situations. So now this one is selected. Yeah, this is so much better. This feels just right. Click, 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 click. Very cool. But it doesn't work. Oh, if you unselect, apparently we crash. Set active layer, and presumably we are giving an invalid index to model selection set. Paint main model selection set. If index is valid, set it. Else layer table view selection clear. All right. And so the final thing is that the move tool, it should, even if we don't have any layer selected, which is the case when we start up, maybe we should automatically select some layer, but it's possible to not have a layer selected. And in that case, currently the tool doesn't work. So I have the move tool and I click on these guys, but nothing happens, right? It's only once I select the layer, then I can start doing this. But I think it would make sense if we can always do it. And the problem is in image editor. In mouse down, we don't proceed if we don't have an active tool, or we don't have an active layer either. So if either of these cases are true, but if we don't have an active layer, I think it's still okay. It's just, we can go through this part here. But then if we still don't have an active layer after that, then we'll return. That will allow you to select the layer with the move tool, even though no layer is selected. So move tool, click, click, click. All right. Now this is starting to feel pretty good. Very like. Okay. Paint brush. Now move tool. Switch the active layer when clicking. Move tool. This feels very intuitive and nice. Although maybe we need some way to override this behavior for the scenario where you're intending to move something currently behind something else. Okay, well, we can think about that later. Maybe we can have like a shift click or whatever, I don't know. So now I would want to have some actions for maybe like send layer to back, move to front, that kind of thing. Move to back, move to front. To move stuff around in the layer hierarchy. So an obvious thing we could do would be to just pop up a context menu. If you right click on a layer, we can do it here as well. It would be nice if they would pop up if you right click over here. For most of the tools, like we have context menus for tools. You can add these to change some attributes about it. That's not really what we should be using context menus for. I feel like if you select a... Wait, how did I select multiple? How did I even do this? Okay, that's weird. I feel like we should move the... oh, it's when I'm right-clicking. Oof, look at that. We should move the attributes to a separate view or something, like tool options thing that would come up somewhere instead of having them right click on the tool button. This right click thing is so stupid. Why does it do that? How do we get rid of that? Button context menu. Who is doing this? In libgui, who are you? Is it the abstract somebody? Tool button. Context menu event. We say, oh, set checked true. You know, maybe we shouldn't just set check true like that. Maybe we should go through the action. So we should do like action activate. Because then that will update the state. It's currently like a little bit, it gets a bit confusing with libgui programs if you have a button and an action, because both action and button has checked state. And then if a button and an action are bound together, they both have a separate checked state, and then they can sort of update each other. And sometimes that stuff gets a little confusing, and I feel like we could do a lot better with that. So now if I right click on these guys, it does something smarter, yeah. So that's okay, let's just commit that. Paintbrush. Activate tool properly when right clicking tool button. We don't go via the action, the tool button comes checked, which can bypass the exclusivity mechanism. That should probably also be fixed, but it's far outside the scope of where I am right now. Okay. So let's do move to back, move to front, that kind of stuff. So I was talking about the context menus because of the way the tool class works. So in tool, we have on context menu, right? But this is like the context menu for the tool button. So I think maybe what we'll do here first is we'll just rename this. So we'll call this like on tool button context menu or something like that. And then we'll repurpose the name on context menu to mean like context menu inside of the image editing area. On context menu, on tool button context menu. Yeah, it's just that. Then we can give you the layer as well. And the move tool gets to override this thing, so here we go. So what are we gonna do? We are gonna give you a chance to change the layer order. So I guess what we want to do here is pop up a menu, right? So first we'll need to store a menu. Context menu. Okay. So if we don't have one, then we will create one. Seems like we need the menu class. Menu. Okay, so what do we want to do here? I guess we'll add some stuff. So like context menu, add action. Do we have like move to front? I feel like we have that somewhere. It's a standard action. Holy moly. Move to front action. Perfect. So GUI, common, what do we call these? We have like this common actions thing. So GUI common actions make move to front action. That is awesome. What are we going to capture? Let's just say this for now. We have layer being moved here, so I guess we can have a pointer like context menu layer, just so we can hold on to whatever we're opening the context menu for. Okay, and then these actions can operate on that, so they'll just do like we'll say editor, image, move layer to front. Wait, does this make sense? And context menu layer. Oh, we need the image class. Okay, so let's just say that that API exists. Will be a good start. And then let's go and invent it. So move layer to front, move layer to back on image. Then we'll probably want to have like more finer ways of moving this stuff. And then of course we want to have like some kind of drag and drop thing in a layer stack view, but we gotta start somewhere. So here we'll just take a layer amp. Image, zip. Okay, and then how do we do this? This is a very simple vector problem, really. So first we find the index, which is, since it's all stored in a vector, maybe we should have a better data structure for this, but I don't think it's particularly necessary, because it's not like you're changing the order around very often, so it doesn't need to have like some particular performance properties, I think. And also, like, these things are not going to get very large. Like, at most you will have like some absolute madman with 100 layers or something, but, or 1,000, say. But I don't think we need to optimize for insertion and speed in this particular data structure. So layers size plus I. So first we're going to find the index of the layer. So if layers at I is layer, then okay, we should probably have like a helper for this. Index of Yeah, let's do this. And then we'll put that there. And then we will assert not reached, because we only let you do this if the layer is in the image. And we'll make this private. It's not really meant for outsiders, it's just for us to have fun with. Index of layer. Okay, and then layers, remove, index, layers, prepend, layer. And oh, and we need to hold on to this thing here while we're doing this. So protect layer, protector. Okay, and then we'll do the same for move layer to back, or front. My bad. So append. Yeah. Oh shit, we should probably. We need to notify the editor that something changed. Yeah, layers did change. Here's this stuff again, like there's no good way to notify. Maybe the image should have a back pointer to his editor. I kind of like the idea of the image being not directly aware of its editor, but maybe that's overly ambitious. So totally fine, and then right clicking doesn't do anything. Oh, because I never hooked it up. Dang it. Okay, so we want to implement context menu event. Virtual void context menu event. Put you right here. Okay, so if there's no active layer or there's no active tool, then I am sorry, but we cannot help you. But if we have a tool, then we can say on context menu with the active layer, and then we need to wait, does this matter? Maybe we can just pass it right through. Context menu event marked override, but does not override anything. Oh, is it context underscore? Yes. Okay, that's my bad. Then we should probably rename this guy to on context menu. And look at that. Oh, it even has shortcuts. So let's move him to back. Oof. Now he's underneath. Oh, that's so cool. Move him to back. How about you go to back? What about you? Okay, that's pretty cool. And we can see it updating over here. Very, very awesome. Oof. Okay, I like it. Wait. I wanted this one to move to front. You. Wait, the shortcut doesn't work. Control Shift up. Oh wait, Control Shift up, not page up. Okay, that's kind of neat. Very nifty. Maybe we should have, let's commit this, but then I was thinking maybe we should have like remove layer. Should it really be a context menu option? I guess we can have it as a context menu option for now. In fact, we can offer all kinds of things with the move tool. Paintbrush, add in image context menu with move to back front. Move tool. Tools can now have an in-image context menu, which you get when right-clicking the image editing area. Our first use of this is to provide the ability to move layers up and down to the back front. Cool. Let's add a removal thingy as well. I think that will be cool. So we would say add, oh, let's add a separator. Separators are cool. Add action, GUI, action, create. Delete layer. Maybe all of these things should have custom names. The icons are nice, but maybe they should be called like, instead of move to back, move to front, they should be like move layer to back, move layer to front. That might look a bit better. It's a bit unfortunate that the common actions don't allow you to override the name. Maybe we should let you do that. Might be a good feature. I don't know. So delete layer. Maybe we don't have a keyboard shortcut for that one, because it's kind of a, maybe we should, I don't know, but we'll start with that one. So we'll add an icon for it though. Res icon 16 by 16, action delete. This should be scoped to the window, I would think. And editor. We'll scope it to the editor, of course, the editor. I should have scoped these guys too. Always forgetting the action scoping. Oh, and I forgot to provide a callback. So what are we going to do in said callback? We are going to tell the editor, image, remove layer, layers did change. So it will just be like that. So I am totally ignoring undo stuff right now, like undo stack stuff, because I'm a little bit lost with how to implement all of these things. So we're gonna go later on and we're gonna add undo functionality. But right now I'm just concerned with just making basic things work. And just working out how to build this type of thing in the first place. So we have delete layer, so let's delete one. Click, and it's gone. But the outline was still there for a brief moment. was it like that? Also, I'm not seeing the delete icon, so base, res, icons. Oh, it's just called delete. Okay. So why did you render the outline of a layer that's not there anymore? Layers to change. So we update the image editor, and then that means that we will paint. And is it that it was the active layer? Oh, and it's a ref putter. Right, so the image editor was still holding on to the layer. So when we remove a layer, yeah, so this is becoming it's becoming untenable to not have a connection between image and image editor. So let's have some way of doing that. I mean, it feels like a defeat. Like I like having him free from that connection, because if we add an image editor pointer here, then everything is just going to start flowing through that pointer. Maybe we could do a client interface instead. You could have like image clients and layer clients, and they would learn stuff that way. That might be a better design, actually. But for now, at present, let's do this in an imperative way. So editor, if the active layer is the context menu layer, then editor set active layer null pattern. Fix me, this should not be done imperatively here. Perhaps a layer client interface. Image editor can implement. Or image client interface is better. Yes. So let's just verify that this works the way I imagine it does. Okay, we should probably fix the default size of this app to be 950 by 570 or something like that. Let's do that right away. 950 by 570. Because I feel like I'm resizing it on every startup, and that's kind of silly. And we should move it to here, 40 by 100. Just to make this a little more efficient, a little more pleasant. Oof, look at that. So we'll delete the active layer. Click, gone. It's pretty cool. All right, so let's add the main file first. Paintbrush tweak initial main window size, and then paintbrush add delete layer action to move tool context menu. Okay, and maybe now we're getting to the point where we should just not instantiate those fake layers on startup. So we'll just make a single background layer, and we'll fill it with white instead. I think that'll be a pretty decent startup state for the application. Yeah, a lot more friendly, right? Oh, I can't paint. Oh, I had to select the layer. Wait, why couldn't I paint? Because no layer is selected on startup. Okay, we should select the first layer on startup. Otherwise, it's weird. So we will layer table views, selection. No, how do we set image editor, set active layer, the BG layer. So now when somebody actually opens up the app, it'll be a little bit more immediately friendly, right? Cool. This is some nice progress here. So of course these guys don't actually do anything, and then you delete layer, nothing more interesting happens. But you can add a layer. Now you have one. Wait. Oh, here. And then we fill it with white, or why not black? Put it back. And we are back on track. Ooh. All right. So user interface basically looks the same after all of this stuff, even though we were messing with so much stuff. But wait, this thing, yeah. It's still pretty good though, good progress. I feel like we're hiding a bunch of things here, which I don't love. Maybe we should surface these things in the layer menu. Oh, the edit menu is empty. Oh, right, yeah, right. But I think maybe we're gonna call it a day here. So yeah, this will be the end of the video. But we got some good stuff done. So if you made it this far, then I thank you for watching, for hanging out, and I hope you saw something interesting. I am glad to be working on Paint app here. I think it's an important component in the operating system, and I'm glad that we are starting to take it a bit more seriously than we did before. So definitely happy with this stuff. So yeah, thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you next time. Bye.